Say, dude, most of your head's in there. Yeah. This kinda I shouldn't have said anything. I just seen if a comment was like, dude, why is the top of his head cut off?
I'm gonna make a fake account now. I'll be like, Jerrid's head is cut off. Thumbs down.
By the way, review starts here. 4 minutes, 30 seconds.
Jerrid's laugh is like he's auditioning for the next Joker movie.
I get that too in videos I'm in as well. Like when Doug and I reviewed Black Christmas, someone said that about me.
Jesus.
In that too. both of us can be competing Jokers. We just have to fight over who's Jared Leto and who's Joaquin Phoenix.
I am not Jerrid Leto. I am Jared Foyles.
See, trick.
See what I did there?
Trick question though, because I will always be Jack Nicholson. I got oral surgery, so I can't use straws for like a week.
Ouch.
Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, God. I mean, it was a little confusing last night where I didn't know if the movie Black Christmas happened or if it was a reaction to the pain medication. So you were saying that, like, wasn't I originally supposed to be at Jumanji?
Yeah. You were like, I think I might put you in Jumanji. And I'm like...
And Laura wanted to see Richard Jewell.
Like, see?
Am I twisting the knife in even more?
Yes! You should have gave us what we wanted.
No, it was actually her that said, like, so you could blame Laura. It was actually her that said, I don't remember the 1996 bombing because I was too young, and you and Jerrid probably do. I was like, oh yeah, I do. I'm like, Jerrid probably does too. And plus, you hadn't seen the first Dwayne Johnson Jumanji, and Laura had. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll switch.
But I could have. I could have like,
theory,
I could have like in the last few days, if you had said, hey, make sure and watch the first Jumanji so that you could get this one, I would have done it.
Mm-hmm. But I could send you a link to the porn parody of Richard Jewell. Dick Jewell.
You know, of course.
There's an orgy in Centennial Park. You have 20 minutes. Where's this going? I guess an orgy. What happens in 20 minutes? Does it end? Is that when it begins?
There's an orgy in Centennial Park.
There's going to be an explosion.
It's going to last 20 minutes.
That movie doesn't exist, but get on that wood rocket.
Right.
Please. I want to see that.
Don't.
No, I
don't. Who do you think they're going to cast as Richard Jewell?
Maybe the same dude who played Sponge Knob Square Nut. Use the same costume. So you didn't like this movie?
I didn't.
Oh.
It was so slow. It was.
Yeah.
It felt like it was written by a 6-year-old. Those are my babysitting tapes. Hey, I watch kids with those Disney tapes.
But I mean, it's a real person. Like,
God.
That kind of thing didn't bother me.
Let's see. Then there were like moments that were supposed to be touching, but not at all touching.
Sure.
Like, Mama, I'm sorry I made you cry. Come out of the bathroom.
I mean, he is very like. I honestly do like his performance a lot here. I think he does a good job, like being.
Who's the actor again?
Paul Joseph Watson, I think is his name, from I, Tonya. In this, he's the way that Richard Jewell is in this is like a combination of like his character from I, Tonya,
sure,
and Seth Rogen in Observe and Report, where he's very obsessed with becoming law enforcement and has like this kind of law enforcement fantasy of being a cop and everything.
He fits the profile.
Plus, not only does the movie remind you of the 96 Atlanta bombing and Richard Jewell, but also the Macarena.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, there's part in like the concert where they all start doing the Macarena, and I was like, this is pretty accurate. I remember going to Cardinal games with my dad around then, and That would happen about every other inning.
And thinking to myself, and I even leaned over to you, and I said, of course, because 96.
It was pretty realistic, honestly. Like, cause I mean, everywhere that shit was played. I liked it when it was panning to John Hamm going like, so I guess this dance is a thing. Huh?
Yeah. You know what? And I just pulled up the cast, and thank God too, because I was thinking to myself, is that Olivia Wilde or is that
Paul Walter Hauser? Sorry.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, Olivia Wilde as Kathy Scruggs.
Yeah, let's talk about her for example for a minute, because she was over the top. Just ridiculous.
She was my favorite part of this movie.
I mean, yeah.
Because like her role in this,
she was fun.
Her role in this is actually pretty controversial. Because because of
having sex with an FBI agent to get the story.
That scene, because I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know enough about this person's life or who this person is to know whether this really happened. But I don't think that did really happen. I don't know if it did or not, but the vibe that I'm kind of seeing is like that probably didn't happen.
Right.
But on the one end,
this whole movie seemed like it was a diss track to Kathy Scruggs. It seemed
she does have an arc though. Like, she does become the voice, an early voice that is actually where she actually does redeem the narrative against Richard Jewell, and she does have this realization that this guy didn't do it, and of the reporters in the movie, becomes one of the first ones to kind of say, wait a minute, I don't actually think this guy did it. Mm-hmm. So, at the beginning of it, she's very cartoonish. She's
very
like
cartoonish.
A party girl who happens to be a reporter.
Who's
saying like evil reporter things, like going up to the other reporters going, hey, at least my story's good, right? I'm on the murder league.
right.
And then like that kind of hurt a little bit. And then
don't bust a stitch now.
Yeah, there are stitches in there. And also when the bombing goes off and it cuts over to her like right after the bombing, and she says something like, God, I hope whoever did this is interesting. I'm like, what? Again, I don't know if this person was really like this, or if she cut the screenwriter off in traffic and he just made her really evil in the first part of it.
You mean Billy Ray?
Yeah, the guy who wrote
by Billy Ray.
He's written some things I like. He wrote he wrote Overlord and Captain Phillips. He was one of them who adapted The Hunger Games. And
really?
Yeah, he's written quite a bit.
Oh.
He wrote co-wrote Terminator Dark Fate, the last one that came out. And I think he had a hand in writing Gemini Man, so they're not all winners. But he's done some stuff that I really liked a lot.
Okay, I don't know. I just like I said, the way this movie felt, and then seeing the writer credit for Billy Ray, I'm like, who the hell is Billy Ray?
As far as the controversy on it goes with Olivia Wilde and Kathy Scruggs, it's like, all right, like on the one hand, from a writing standpoint, it's like it's a movie, it's a dramatization.
Yeah.
It's certainly a thing that happens in a lot of based on a true story movies. Sometimes a person can look better than they were in real life. Sometimes a person can look worse than they are in real life. However, in the context of this movie, which is about a person being railroaded, it is kind of like, all right, of all based on true story movies, in a movie about a guy railroaded by the media and the FBI, you probably want to go the extra effort to be a little accurate with some of the people that you're writing in this who are based on real people. Sure. Otherwise, you're going to be slightly hypocritical.
Right, exactly. No.
But again, I don't know what these people are like in real life.
And then you risk like slap suits.
Well, she died. That's another thing too. Oh. She died in like 2003,
really?
I think. Yeah,
drug overdose.
Actually, yeah, I think it was. I think it was.
Boom.
Like I was doing a little bit of reading on it earlier. But so again, like, but while I did like that they gave her an arc in this movie, and actually Olivia Wilde I thought was great. I thought she was pretty entertaining and like saying a lot of these lines and being really over the top, like when she's just in the back seat of the lawyer's car.
Right.
Like, I'm kind of going, I don't know if this happened, but this is a weird character that they have in this movie. I mean, granted, even though when she does kind of have this realization of, okay, I don't think this guy did it.
Yeah.
It's kind of quick when this happens.
It felt like she had that realization after watching his mom give that press conference. And it was like, oh, this is so touching. You know?
No, it was before then, because it was when the lawyer comes in to yell at her in her office, and then she does the phone test where she walks the right to the to the payphone.
Which first the lawyer does that, then the reporter does that. When were the cops going to do that?
Well, that's why in the movie they said like they think he might have had an accomplice.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that the movie did a fair enough job of showing why they might think this guy did it.
Yeah.
Or the steps that kind of led to considering this guy a suspect.
Sure.
I didn't think that it was like completely...
I think it went overboard, though. I think it went...
Well, it did in real life, too. I mean, this guy won a huge lawsuit over this. Like, this guy was railroaded pretty hard by the coverage that happened. So in the movie, when it's showing kind of all this over-the-top stuff happening with the media and everything, I kind of sat there going, yeah, that's pretty accurate to this story. But I did think that, like, it could have been very two-dimensional in terms of how the FBI is in the movie, but I thought it did a good enough job of showing why these guys probably think he did it. Like when they're talking about his past and different things.
Well, yeah, and so
the profile.
The thing about Richard Jewell is that he's he probably is a dumbass and a fuck up, but he isn't.
I don't know.
But he isn't. He obviously wasn't a.
No, yeah, he didn't do that shit.
Right, obviously.
Yeah, no, and I thought the movie was all right. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was important to get the guy's story out there because it was because I remember when it happened. It was a huge story.
So here's the thing, and I even said this as we got in the car. I was like, so I do remember it happening, but I've just forgotten about it because it's been so long ago, and
there were some things that the movie did that I thought were kind of weird. Like, I didn't think it was a great movie, but I liked it enough. Like, there were odd things, like when it was showing media coverage and it was actual media coverage. And, like, so it would be Katie Couric talking to, like, actual Richard Jewell. And then they dubbed the actor's voice over it. But then later,
and I gotta say that if you pointed or if you picked that out, I sure as heck couldn't. So good job to the casting department for casting him so accurately.
That took me out of the movie when that happened. I was like, all right, I'm watching a movie. But then later they have Sam Rockwell talking to an actor playing Bryant Gumbel. And so I'm like, it wasn't really consistent in what it was doing there.
The lawyer doing that. Yeah. Is that who that was supposed to be? That was supposed to be Bryant Gumbel?
I think it was supposed to be Bryant Gumbel.
Good Lord. That was supposed to be Bryant Gumbel?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. There was also some weird humor in it, too.
Yeah, now, there's one thing I will give this movie credit, and I don't think it, and I can't tell if it was intentionally trying to be funny, or
I think it was.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. So, because those dumbass moments, those were actually fun to watch. Whenever he was like, "You don't talk, I talk," and then
that was funny. That was good. Yeah.
Fucking like talking.
Then there'd be other parts where the humor would kind of be weirdly placed, like in the interrogation scene. He's like, I assure you, I'm not gay. And things like that. Like, the humor would be kind of weirdly placed in some scenes. But no, I thought and here's why I kind of like this movie. It had largely to do with the acting. I honestly thought it was an entertaining enough movie. But I did really like the relationship between Sam Rockwell as his lawyer and him. I thought their chemistry was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I liked seeing how frustrated Sam Rockwell kept getting that this guy's too damn nice, too damn accommodating to these guys. Yeah. Like, I like that he has this very naive, heart of gold client when he's being absolutely railroaded.
So wait, so you're talking about the characters, not so much the actors, or are you talking about both?
Because I mean, like, because the actors I thought did a great job.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And sometimes, you know, Richard Jewell's written a little sitcom-y in this, like, I'm like, is this a movie about Richard Jewell, or is this a very special episode of Bob Hart's Abishola? Like, this show got kind of dark. But, I mean, by and large, like, it's not like I thought this was one of the best movies of the year. Like, some of the caricatures were a little lazy in the movie. Yeah. But in terms of Eastwood movies, like recent Eastwood movies, I thought this was way better than... I liked it better than Sully. I liked it better than The Mule. Dear God, is it better than 1517 to Paris. And also the last movie I saw was Black Christmas. But I thought, I would call this, like, I don't know if you need to see this in the theater necessarily. No. But I would call it a really good rental. I suppose. But
get high and watch it. And
then you want to watch Black Christmas. Like, also, like, to compare, and also in comparing this to Black Christmas, yeah, I mean, this is certainly a movie that has some politics in it, certainly.
Well, yeah, it's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, but Eastwood, though, here's the thing, though. Eastwood knows how to make a movie. Like, and this is a movie. It is. Like, Black Christmas is not. Like, this is a movie where, like, okay, yeah, it has a point of view, certainly, like a lot of Eastwood movies do, but Eastwood knows how to craft a movie with a story, direction, and characters. This movie is made with the intent you're going to leave it and say, you know, that was a well-acted drama. That was an interesting story. Black Christmas has no interest in being a movie. Black Christmas wants to be a tweet that gets a lot of likes.
See, now you're just making me want to see Black Christmas.
That's what a lot of comments, you kind of do, because it is absolutely absurd.
Yes.
It is. It's
and that's me, man. I love absurd.
Wait till it goes on video, so it'll be the R-rated version. Right. You don't want to see it edited for PG-13 thing in theaters.
Good call.
Everyone's off screen to death.
Good call.
Like
off screen to death.
Yeah, dude. That's what happened in that movie.
Terrible.
Yeah, so I way recommend the movies out this way. I'm seeing Jumanji after this, but between this and Black Christmas, this is a way damn better film.
Let's see what else can we talk about. I will say, since we're talking about the politics of this movie, you know, after No Safe Spaces and now this,
sure,
you know that Facebook is now going to ask me to, like, sign a petition for Donald Trump, right?
Between that movie and this movie,
Facebook's going to be like, sign this petition to help Donald Trump beat the Democrats or something like that, and I'm just going to be like,
no thanks, I'm writing in Richard Jewell.
Hashtag Richard Jewell 2020.
Or the porn version again. Dick Jewell.
Dick Jewell.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Any other? Yeah, is there really anything else about this movie? It's a pretty straightforward film, to be perfectly honest.
That's the thing, though. I think that's part of the reason. Part of the thing that I had. Part of the problem I had with it was that the story was just so like, he didn't do it. Now let's spend 90 minutes
I had
drilling it, drilling the point home or something.
I liked a lot of the scenes. Again, I liked seeing him and Sam Rockwell interact with each other, and I got John Hamm's frustration too, in that John Hamm's character, the FBI agent, saw a lot of people die and really wanted to nail someone.
Well, and I got that too in the final scene.
Yeah.
In the final scene, whenever he hands them the letter of acquittal.
I think so. Yeah.
I guess you call it acquittal. And so that's just the thing, is that like, in that scene, yes, I know, you're right. I noticed that then. After that, it just felt like he was just trying to, nail Jewell. Not so much because he thought he did it, but just because
I thought he
just wanted to wrap the case up and go home. I felt like.
I thought he did it, and like before then, they were explaining. I thought they did a good enough job of explaining why, that he just fit a profile of people who had done similar things before, and I could see it from their point of view. Like, it's not like, I mean, clearly this guy got screwed, but John Hamm, I thought, did a good enough job in the movie, especially with that scene that we're talking about, in showing why he maybe not make some of the best decisions in the world,
right? Or
you can at least trace the thought process.
Right. No, and so
Laura's probably here.
Yeah. And again, shut up, Laura. No, I'm kidding. No, and again, so again, I'm saying that while I get why they, I get that they're trying to nail him. It's just that it didn't really feel like he genuinely thought he had did it until that scene in the diner.
I like that. I like that he finally cracked. I did kind of like that like you kind of felt like all this tension had built up in him that he was kind of keeping under control, John Hamm, and then just sort of exploded in that moment.
I guess.
I honestly thought that was a good payoff with that character a little bit, versus if he had kind of been like that the whole time. I don't think that scene in the interrogation room would have been as effective.
Okay, so you're talking about the interrogation room. Yeah, I guess it in that conference room. Yeah, it felt more genuine there than every other point in the movie. It just felt like he was going through the motions, but. Yeah.
I just love John Hamm.
So all these actors did good jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, we can both agree on that. But now let's also go to, and then we'll wrap this up, and you can go see Jumanji. Yeah. But I also want to mention real quick that scene between who played between Richard and the lawyer.
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. With Sam Rockwell, whenever they were like yelling at each other at the in the apartment.
Yeah.
In there, he mentioned that he's like, oh, you're the only lawyer that treated me like a human being, and you never called me pudgy or doughboy or anything like that. But he never realized, he never caught on that that the lawyer would always call him Radar.
That was the opening scene you missed. The opening scene, they explain that.
Oh.
He goes. It opens with him working the mail room.
Oh, see, I thought it was a reference to the movie, what's his name? Radar, the movie.
Radio with
Radio.
Oh,
Oops.
Truly, it was Richard Jewell teaching us. The Cuba Gooding Jr.
Thank
movie?
you, Cuba Gooding Jr. But once you
no.
said radio,
The opening scene.
once you said radio, I'm like, oh.
He calls him
that's
Radar
it.
as a reference to MASH. That was this
Oh.
opening exchange between the two of them when they first meet.
Can you edit that out?
No, I get it. It's fair. I mean, you missed the opening scene.
But I also fucked up which movie I thought. Or
It's an honest mistake.
Yeah.
Like, Radar, Radio. Like, it could have been called Radar. The Cuba Gooding Jr. movie. Now I kind of want to see a version of this where Sam Rockwell's pushing Richard Jewell down a hill in a shopping cart.
Me too. Me too, actually. Me too.
Well, I got it. Laura's probably here, so I try to get in and see Jumanji. You going back to work for the night?
No, I'm going home. It's going to take me an hour just to drive home.
Oh. Well, dude, just don't take the back roads. Take the highway. You can get there in like 10 minutes.
I wish.
All right. Well, or you could just go home and watch the first Jumanji.
Yeah, there you go.
See you guys.
See
Take
ya.
care.